Drake's exclusives at 2. I got a lot of goodies, New York City, New Jersey, Connecticut. 800-585-1051 if you want to hear something new. My power lines are wide open. It's called Fireworks, Drake, Alicia Keys. Spat 1051, let's go.
Money to change everything. I wonder how life without it would go. From the concrete, who knew that a flower would grow? Looking down from the top and it's crowded below. My 15 minutes started an hour ago. Truth over fame, you know I respect the ladies. When I hear him talking, I just don't know what to make of it. Hate is so familiar to me, I'm slowly embracing it. Doesn't come natural, bear with me, it can take a bit. Yeah, and my dreams are who I'm racing with. But you can see I'm pacing it so that I'm always chasing it. Wayne put me right here, that's who I get the paper with. I hope that my success never alters our relationship. Yeah, this life is something I would die for. October's on, but it's looking like July 4th. I just wish they let you try it first. This time I'm really going on.
Well, there you have it. That is a snippet from the very first song in the new Drake album, Thank You Later. This is a thing. I was at one time a Degrassi fan, and for those who have watched Degrassi, you know who Drake was before he was Drake. Jimmy. He was. I swear, for all that time he was on the show, he was always crippled. He was a star athlete. He was always crippled. Oh man, welcome back. Welcome back to the show. In the last segment, I was getting in the butt of LeBron James, but all the other factors is accounted for, but it starts and stops with LeBron James. The best player on the floor, if the talent is there, and the talent was there, even though it wasn't favorable matchups, the talent was there. But if LeBron James wants to be the best, if he wants to be the best in the sport, the heart has to be there. The heart must be there. If not, he is going to be well under expectations. And so far he has. So far he has. But here's where things now get interesting. Now, free agency. So let me talk about what the Cavs is trying to do. The Cavaliers, first off, they did not get Tom Izzo. Which is fine. Which is fine. Because, like I explained in the previous show, Tom Izzo perhaps had the best resume. The fact is, he was a college coach. So here's a guy, the best. You want to know who had the most success as a college basketball coach coming into the NBA and being a head coach? Reggie Theus. Reggie Theus. And he was only in the NBA head coaching for 2 seasons. And his winning percentage in the NBA was only around the .450 mark. Not good. Not good. Below 500 basketball in 2 years. So the track record certainly was not there for Tom Izzo. So he decided, I'm going to stick around Michigan State for good. Buy him by his word. So, I mean, honestly, if you turn down a Cavaliers job, then there's probably not going to be a better job opening out there. But at this point now, is it better off to get a new head coach first, or is it better off to develop your roster? I would go with the latter. I would go with the second choice. So, what's the latest rumor? The latest rumor is the Cavs is trying to look at a trade, a signed trade, to get Chris Bosh. I talked about this earlier in the show. The trade apparently will involve Anderson Varejao and Gerard Williams, I believe. Either him or J.J. Hickson. So, very interesting because now you fall into a complex situation. You fall into the part of, okay, we have to convince LeBron James to stay here. But, so you bring in Chris Bosh. But does this necessarily make the team better? And the answer is no. I'll give you the definitive answer. The answer is no. And honestly, I think that makes the team worse. I would think, because you have basically now you're replacing Verjao, who's an energy guy, with, Chris Bosh, proven all-star. But the fact is, now, where do you put him? If you still have Shaq, well, Shaq's a free agent. Shaq's a free agent. But still, here's a team, now you have to add another nucleus. Here's a team that was 1 point guard away from winning a championship, and you bring in another big. That's not needed. You bring in another big that's not needed. However, if the Cavs don't try to make this trade and don't try to make this deal, now you find yourself in a situation where LeBron James sees as the Cavaliers is not trying to do anything. And if they're not trying to do anything, then obviously they don't want him here. Which I find a huge problem with, because they put around as much talent as you can possibly put around that kid. LeBron James. Why did I call him kid? But they put the king. They put around as much talent as you can get. And yet, you can't win in the postseason. LeBron James has to come to that realization. LeBron James has to ask himself this question. And we need to know. In the sports world, we need to know. Does he want to be the greatest player of all time in the sport? Does he want to chase and beat out Michael Jordan at 6 NBA titles? Because, let's be frank, let's not beat around the bushes here. In his career, if he doesn't have as many titles as at least Kobe Bryant does, Kobe has 5. Jordan has 6. If LeBron doesn't even reach those numbers, let's be honest. By his standards, his career is a complete and utter failure. It is a failure by his standards if he doesn't reach that plateau of championships by the time he ends his career. Barring, of course, any injury that happens to him, of course. But he's been relatively healthy. So, is he motivated to win championships? Multiple championships? Or does he want to be the first billion-dollar athlete in the world? That's actually a pretty decent choice. I mean, here you have all these, the rest of the world is struggling, but here you have these athletes who say they are underpaid because they're only getting paid $30 million a year and they want to get paid $60 million a year. I'm sorry, just threw that rant out there. Very interesting question that LeBron James has to look at. When we come back, we'll talk about the U.S. Open. How can you go from 6 under par to 5 over? More in a moment.